I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Marie and another night of Ink to Ink, Incarceration to Incorporate. I would like to thank you all for tuning in tonight. We're going to have a great show talking about mentorship, mentors making a difference. And so I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Julius Hall for giving us this safe space to share our stories. I would like to thank you for the brainchild who came up with Incarceration to Incorporate, Mr. AB himself, and I would like to thank you for my co-host who is not here, Mr. Julius Campbell. So tonight we're going to have our special guest, and I thank them for coming on tonight. And we got Paul Thompson and we got Latasha Blige, and they're going to come on and we're going to shoot and chat tonight, and we're going to talk about mentorship. So how y'all doing tonight, Tasha and Paul?
We doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm going to ask some questions, and we're just going to sit here and chew and chat. But we're talking about mentorship, Tasha and Paul, and how the disconnect is without you. So, Paul, I'm going to start out with you. You know, we always ask, what is your affiliation to incarceration? Paul, you can just give us a brief little summary for the people who have not heard your story, and then you go into what are you doing now, Paul?
Well, peace and blessings, everybody. Excuse me. Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Paul Thompson. I'm from Savannah, Georgia, born and raised. East Side kid, you know what I'm saying? Those that don't know. I was incarcerated for 10 years back in 2004. Got out 2014. This January was my 10-year freedom. So, you know, we are not always going to be part of that recidivism rate. You know, I'm living proof of it. One of the things that I did that helped me a lot was my relationship with God, because without him and understanding his love for me and learning that continuously, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. It wouldn't give me the confidence to be the person that I believe I am. And that's my motivation and how I get through. But, you know, right now, actually doing a lot, you know what I'm saying? I kind of been featuring it a lot. I'm starting back up the financial education for the youth again, Marie. We working with some system impacted youth. And, you know, something coming soon, very, very soon.
Very good.
Great program. You know, one of the things I truly believe is that, you know, our youth don't see options.
Right.
They're in their survival mode, which stops them from seeing a lot of options that's out there. And maybe they just haven't been introduced. So we're going to, you know, the program, I'm doing the financial literacy part of the program. I'm going to give them some ideas of things, of ways to save and possibly make some money long term, possibly short term. To change, give them different options to do something besides, you know, what they've been doing, going into the streets, some, you know, things that got me incarcerated and other people too.
Right. So, Tasha, thank you, Paul, for giving us that information. Tasha, I would like you just to introduce yourself and give us a little, I don't know if you ever been affiliated with incarceration, but just give us your story, just tell people who you are and what you do.
My name is Latasha Blige. I'm a native of Savannah, Georgia, 43 years. Yeah. I'm right here. I'm on the west side. You know what I'm saying? Nah, Savannah just my city. I love my city. I love my
That's right.
city
That's right.
everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I bless God for it. I was incarcerated. I was incarcerated. I think I did 45 days. Thank God it wasn't the 4 years they was trying to say revoke my probation for, but I only did 45 days. But it was hard. It was doing Christmas, New Year's, and things like that. But God is
Yeah.
still God. I had got saved that the year before. No, I got saved in 2001. So I was saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, but I was going to jail. But God.
But
But
God.
God is still God. Yeah. He's still God. And even in there in a situation I learned a lot. I saw a lot, and it was good for me. It was everything we go through is good for us, but it's for somebody else. And I had helped a lot of people while I was in there. And mentorship is big and important. And I never gave myself a title, but that is exactly what I was, because I can go and talk to people and I can help people in any area of their lives. And I'm just grateful and honored. I have a lot going on, and I'm starting some businesses and stuff, and just doing what God said do. That's all. Just staying focused and doing what He told me to do, because I got His purpose for my life, and I'm a helper, and I want to
Well,
help everybody.
that is very good. Thank you, Tasha, for sharing part of your story, because we haven't heard yet even a portion of your story. And so what I wanted to know, I want to ask a question. How can a mentor be effective to our youth, Paul? How do you think, Tasha, this is a question for you too, but I'm going to let Paul chime in, ask, how can a mentor be effective to our youth, this generation? I asked the question, Paul, I said, do you think that this generation was like us back when we were younger? And can you just tell me, how can a mentor be effective? And do you think it's two questions. And do you think
Okay.
that we are like the youth of today?
Okay. So let me start with that one.
Okay.
Do I think the youth are like us? Do I think when we were young, are the youth today like us?
Right.
So, I mean, we grew up in a totally different environment. You know what I'm saying? I just had one of my neighborhood mothers, grew up on the street with me, passed away just recently, Miss
Oh,
Bratt.
sorry.
You know what I mean? And, growing up, she was like a mom. And it was like
Right.
7 of them on the block. So it wasn't too
Right.
much we really could do and get away with. We had a village in that one neighborhood, and it expanded out to different, because we had friends, and
Right.
the friends' mom knew and understood that if I did something wrong, they was okay to discipline me and call my parents to get on me
Exactly.
too. So that's a dynamic that is not as big right now
That's
for
right.
our. So they have developed, a lack of. I'm not saying all of them, because even the ones that we think are wild, they still have a great respect for their elders. They still have a great respect
Right.
for life and things like that. But I think, but we need to be that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't
Right.
always got to get on their case, but let them know that you care about them, because that's what she did. But she made sure we had our pants pulled up and we wore belts as boys. you
That's
know,
right. Thank you. I'm so
if
happy that
Right.
she
it
did.
was some trash was in the street, she pick it up.
Hmm.
I used to when I used to see her cutting grass, even before she passed. After I got out, I went to Atlanta, came back. When I would visit, I'll see how they cutting the grass, and I go
Hmm.
out. Come on, let me get this right here.
That's
But,
right.
but that's what that breeds in the long term. Yeah, some of the youth are going to act out and say things. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
but we gotta continuously show them that we care, not just talk to them.
That's right.
That's the
That's
other.
right.
That's how it is into the mentor piece.
Hmm.
Is we gotta stop talking to the kids and get to know them,
I
because
like that.
you never you. I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we were kind of having a similar conversation, and they were saying that it was some kids on probation, so talk to law enforcement and probation officers, so forth and so on, and they was like, some of the kids are just hungry,
Hmm.
And when they start feeding them, when they start getting them kind of more food, things started changing. They would do the things they wouldn't do everything that they did.
Right.
So you got to get to know, because everybody dealing with different situations at home. You got to do your best to understand that and be patient with them and understand that it's going to take time. Like, we can't expect them to change over in 3 months. And these kids can live in this probably who knows how long.
That's right, Paul. So, Tasha, the same questions for you. How can a mentor be effective to our youth? And the second question is to you. I want to hear your input. How do you think that the youth are like how the way we were when we were younger? And go ahead, Tasha.
Okay, I'm answering the first question. I mean, the second question first.
Okay.
No, they're not like how we were. The
Right.
youth are not how we were. They don't have the presence of the mentorship around them. Mentorship can be anybody who cares. I feel like
Right.
it's anybody who cares, and it's important to have that, just that person. I was a school bus driver, and me driving the middle school kids around, I used to see and could tell who was, what I'm saying, this and that other. You have to pay attention. You have to care. You have to know and see it. And then you
Right.
have to have a heart, what I'm saying? You can't just be one of them people that just, oh, I see and I know. No, a mentorship is somebody who cares, somebody who has that heart of love for children, for adults, anybody. And
That's right.
the kids that now they're not being raised like that, because first of all, some mothers are working like 2 and 3 and 4 jobs, and ain't no father. You understand what I'm saying? It's the situations that they're in. That's why when he said you have to know, and we have to get to know the kids and see what's going on. But God will give you discernment too, where you can tell. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's not the same. When I was coming up, I had teachers, the school teachers used to love me. They
Right.
helped me. That's how I graduated from school. The
Mhm.
mentorship of my school teachers, they would tell me this and that. They would help me with this and that. Now there's so many young teachers and they don't care anymore. They just
Right.
don't. And I don't know if they got it stuck in their mind. Well, I got it. You got to get yours. But they just gotta think. But that's what's causing the young kids to not be the same and not get the same as we got.
I like that. And you know what I said? I said that too, Tasha. Remember when I put that up on Facebook and I said about mentorship? I don't feel that a mentorship, Paul, to me is, I was talking to Moses yesterday and he made a valid point to me. He said that he said, sometimes mentors are just there for a short period of time and then they're gone. And he
Right.
said maybe the kids are in realization like, oh, you're going to be like my stepfather. You're going to be like this person who is not around, and you're not going to be here to stick around to help me. I think that these kids need somebody in it for the long haul.
Yes.
And I like what you
That's
said,
it.
Paul. You say to get to know them. And I feel
Yep.
that when we talk, don't talk at them, talk to them.
Right.
So that we can get an
Yep.
understanding of how they feel. Because guess what? Regardless if this system impacted or not, they still have feelings.
Right.
They still have feelings.
And
What
they
you
go
say?
into their hormonal stage at that point.
They
Come on,
are.
now.
Yep.
We all
Yep.
know. That's
You,
not the
you,
Yep.
time.
Paul, guess what I heard a young man say? He said that people don't take it as bad as they would take it if a female was molested by a male, right? I shared it to my Facebook page. He said he was molested by his babysitter, which was a female. He said, but what it made, he said, people don't hear a man when they talk. Like you don't, he said they didn't hear me that she was touching me. It was like, oh, they thought that was something cool. He said that's not cool.
It's
I
not.
think
It's not.
we in society, we got to be, I'm talking about as adults. I remember
Yeah. As adults.
Brad said this. He said that adults need mentors because
Yes.
I feel like a whole family, if you see that the kids are acting out, and Tasha made a valid point. Yes, sir, Ms. Dahl. Oh, guess what, y'all? Excuse me, we got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Katie Brewington and I'm running for Magistrate Court Judge. Magistrate Court is often called the People's Court because people represent themselves or are pro se litigants. Magistrate Court handles civil claims up to $15,000, dispossessory proceedings, pre-warrant applications, and good behavior bonds. I'm a great candidate for judge because I have the experience, compassion, and drive to get the job done. I have been a probation officer, a criminal defense attorney, a solicitor, and a municipal court judge, and I will take all of that experience to get the job done. So remember, vote Katie Brewington, May 21st, from Magistrate.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are talking about, do mentors make a difference? Paul, I want to ask you a question. You and Tasha, this is for you and Tasha. How can we change the narrative for our children? How can we change, because right now, me and Julius, I'm with OAA, Offenders Alumni Association, and we come to empower, encourage, and educate one another, because I don't care who you are, not one person can do it alone. And we go off by sharing stories. Your story does matter. It matters because it can make a difference in someone else's life. So we're coming on next week, Thursday, Paul. If you don't have anything to do, you and Tasha, maybe y'all can come to 8011 Waters Avenue to around 5 o'clock if y'all don't have anything to do. And we're starting verbal and visual again with the system impacted youth. And so I want to know, Paul and Tasha, I'm going to ask you first, how can we change the narrative with our kids of how the way they see things? What do you think it would take, Tasha?
We can
I can't hear you, T.
change it by being what we want to. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear
Hello?
you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
We can change the narrative by being the change that we want to see. We can be the change. We can be the differences. So we have to show them. That's why it's important. So what I'm doing now, personally, that's all I can talk about. I am showing my kids how to be entrepreneurs, how to follow their dreams, how when they see creativity, anything that they're thinking, everything they want sewing, they can go after it. And that's what we have to show them. We have to be the examples that they need to see. And then we have to talk to them. We have to take ourselves off the high pedestals and
That's
come
it.
down and see and remember where we come from and what we did and what we went through and where we done come from. And we have to relate it to them, kids and adults.
That's right. Because guess what? You know what? I'm going to tell you something, T. They watch us. They watch us. You can't tell your kids, well, I don't think that you should drink. I don't think that you should smoke marijuana. But then, mama, but you do it. So if it's bad, why are you doing it? Because they no longer, my mama used to say, do as I say, not as I do. But I'm always.
And that's it. What I saw them do.
That's it. They, Mama, I saw you do
they
it.
Do.
And guess what? Nobody can give it more harsher to you than your children. Well, you did.
Yeah, and that's what I tell my kids. And so my kids now, they smoke their weed. So I be like, so I stop. I put the weed down again. You know what I'm saying? Because I started back. You know what I'm saying? See, I started back smoking weed and drinking. So my kids saw that. So now the whole house, that's what they doing. So I say, well, Lord, I thank you. I'm gonna give it to you, God. I pray about it and I keep it moving, but I show them different. I show them that their mom is a go-getter. I show them I'm changing. I'm opening businesses. I'm starting businesses. I done graduated from college this many times. I'm this and that. And I'm showing them. So they have an example before them. All you got to do is be the example that you want them to see. That's how you change the narrative. Be the example that you want them to see. Become that person. And anybody can change. Anybody can do it.
Exactly.
Anybody. All you got to do is make up your mind. Just make up your mind and go after it. I went to the Step Up Savannah. I've been in there in the program. Graduated, got my TWIC card. You know what I'm saying? This is thing. They sealed the mail, sealed the records for people to hire me. Stuff out here. There's stuff out here for them to get into it. It ain't no more excuses. We got to change the narrative by being the examples.
Tasha, excuse me. You said one thing. You said the mayor sealed your record.
No. He signed a letter. He signed a letter about my record so that companies can hire me because of my record.
Now that is really good, because I want to say this. When you get a record, and I know Mr. Hall likes to say, he said a debt is no longer a debt once you serve your time, but that is far from the truth,
Yeah,
because you all know that I was working on my job. The families love me, and I lost my job. You understand? Because of my background. You understand?
yeah.
So what I'm saying, I think that is such a cliche. I think that is good, but society takes and hold us to our background. Now, this my record is 25 years old, and I'm no longer that Marie. I am no
Yeah.
longer that Marie where I would take and go write a check and mess with a credit card. Because Tasha,
Exactly. I ain't stealing not from nobody shoplifting. Then oh that like 25 years ago, baby.
Tasha, I'm gonna call you and Paul and say, "Give me $5. Let me borrow it." I'm not messing with
Please.
no.
That's
And if I
right.
got borrowed, I'm gonna give it
I'm
to you.
not doing. I'm not messing with nobody else's stuff.
I'm
You
not.
hear me?
Hey, I'm not for real, for real, for real, like for real. But it holds you, and it holds you, and it shouldn't. It should not. It should not,
Right.
and it should stop being put. That's what caused me. So I went to college. I went to college 3 times and graduated because I wanted to overwrite my criminal background because I got a felony criminal background of shoplifting. So they looked at bad. So I was like, well, let me get to college. That'll kill it. That don't kill it. That don't kill nothing. That's why entrepreneurship, we have to show them how to go into business. What are their dreams? You have to sit down and talk to kids and ask them, what do you like doing? What are your dreams? What you see yourself doing? You know what I'm saying? You have to ask them. You have to talk. Back then, Marie, y'all, we didn't have, our parents didn't have time. My grandmother raised me, and she didn't have
Right.
time to sit down and ask me nothing. She just was working, making sure lights, water, gas, everything was on, and you had food to eat. Period.
Exactly, exactly. And so that, and thank you, Bernard White, for saying, which is thank you so much. I'm very much, I think me, Paul, and Tasha can say we are really trying our best to do what is right. What is right.
Yes.
Paul, I want to ask you, how can we change the narrative with our youth, Paul?
Well, I mean, we in a day and age right now that anybody can make money, right? And
Right,
really what they're after. Like we said, a lot of them hungry, a lot of them got moms, dads that's working a lot of jobs just to make ends meet, especially here in Savannah. Well,
mm-hmm.
one of the things that we can do is help them be more creative and give them
Right,
more ideas, like she was saying about entrepreneurship. I watched so many videos, and I'm pretty sure y'all have walked through so many videos on Instagram, Facebook, on TikTok, with the kids dancing all out downtown. Why we
mm-hmm.
don't here? Why we can't make that stuff cool again? And then not
Right,
cool. It's actually a business opportunity to do that
Yeah.
now. The way social media is set up, it'll go
mm-hmm.
crazy. We had 17 million visitors here in 2022. 17 million,
Wow,
Georgia. Tell me that those kids, there's plenty of opportunity for anybody to do anything, especially the youth. So we can help and cultivate that. Their
mm-hmm.
opportunities, get them different options. That's one thing that I realized kind of what led me into the streets. And you know, after hindsight, 2020, of course, is that if I would have had more options, and I did have some, I didn't think those options were, honestly, I didn't want to work at McDonald's. I thought that was embarrassing. That's
Right,
my, she could tell you. She would tell you.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So going to work at a McDonald's job, that's not for me. Because a lot of people,
right,
what happens at those jobs? People yell at them, fuss at them.
mm-hmm.
They already, like I talked about earlier, they already going through the hormonal changes and stuff like that. And then the situation at home is just not
Right.
wait for it. Some make it through, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we come on now, let's be realistic about it. That's something we got to be realistic.
Right, right. You're right. Paul, you know what? Mr. Hall just said a debt paid is no longer debt, and don't allow it and don't let anyone try to make you pay a second time you already paid. But Mr.
That's
Hall,
right.
I don't
Yeah,
have my
but
job. He
but
guess what?
but with
Go ahead.
Marie, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
I do work a job, and I'm not saying, and I'm thankful for that. But before I had this job, I had to learn how to create my own income. So don't allow yourself to be uh
Just say it, Paul.
measured by somebody else's decision on you. You
Right.
know who you are. You know what abilities. Look at what you're doing right now. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
if they don't want to get it to you, go get it. That's one thing. And I won't go too deep into this. That's one thing I think we have to get back to what this part of the American dream, going out and creating for yourself.
That's what Mr.
That's it. That's
That's what
it.
Mr. Hall just said. He said, reinvent yourself. You can go anywhere
Yourself.
from where you are
Yep.
now.
And
And so
the way social media is set up right now.
he said, well, thank you, Paul. Drop the mic.
Drop in.
Just drop.
Just drop.
You know, he is something else.
But
when we come back from break, y'all, because we're gonna go to commercial break in just a second. But when we come back from break, Paul, and I'm not trying to step on no African American black man neck, but I need to know where the ball was dropped with the black man and being in the family. You know, if you didn't have daddy, you had uncle, cousin, somebody of a role model, mentor was there. But I remember I asked a gentleman, he was 70 years old, and he said, sweetheart, he said, I'm just going to give it to you plain. He said, we have dropped the ball with the youth. We have dropped the ball. So I need to know where we can come back from there, because I'm going to tell you the story once we come back from commercial break. Go ahead, Mr. Hall. Take us to commercial break.
All right.
Okay, Paul. I don't see Tasha, but she must be had to drop out. So thank you, Tosh, for being a part of this mentors making a difference tonight. So Paul, I want to know, Paul, can you tell me why African American men, not all, disclaimer, I'm not saying all African American men, but for those that are not doing their part, why, and why again? Because the youth, a man really make a difference. And even if the parents are not together, you should still be a part of your son's or daughter life to help. And I think that I remember I heard Kenya talk about this yesterday on the live that she did. She said that when she asked the soldiers about how their family life was, and even at their job, he said the men, it was nothing but a bunch of men saying they're not being heard. So just if you take and you saying men, and you know, if you're a boy and you're not being heard, that stuff grow up in you as a male, as a man. So tell me where the disconnect is, why the fathers are not doing their part with our youth.
Well, I can't, give, specifics, but, just in my opinion, one part is, who taught them, trickle down effect. That's,
Right.
I believe that has something to do with it. There's a lot of the older generation, men in their 60s and 70s who had a hard life. And, even if they gained something, they say, hey, look, I had to work hard. So I'm not going to take what I don't work hard for and give you the build on. No, you got to build from the ground up, just like I did.
Right.
And those things, I do truly believe those things called disconnects. Especially with men. Then there's a lot of, a lot of people a lot of men in competition. It's good to have competition, but the way you do your competition, like, it's I know, like, maybe it's at least 10 brands, different clothing brands in Savannah alone.
Right.
more than that. I guarantee you. I'm just saying it's just 10 for a roundabout number, but
Right.
it's enough money for everybody to
It
be.
is. It really is.
But what happens when it comes to men and some young boys,
Mm-hmm.
no young and the young men, not young boys, young men, is they feel like they're in competition to battle against each other instead of seeing each other as or an older man seeing a younger man and saying, "You got some great potential. Let me give you a little something along your way. Check in."
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have that. Oh no, he might take my job type stuff. Because I run into those situations. I've run into situations where I'm working for a contractor and the client is rather me be there than
Mm-hmm.
the contractor. And I don't, there's nothing that I did. Some of these, we are talented people. So we're going to learn
Right.
at a high level. There's also, you know, a systematic thing going on, and I'm not going to go too deep in this because we already know what it is.
Right.
Project living, getting government subsidies. Women cannot have men in the house after a certain period of time. Before, if I'm not mistaken, and please, this is a disclaimer. I don't know if I'm right. I believe that before at one point they allowed it to happen, and people were coming up out of that. But now
Right.
not allowing it. I mean, and there's several other little factors that it's a lot of things. I got a list.
Right.
But but men men need to understand another thing. Men they thinking they just need to make the money. That's what we're being taught in society.
Right. And
Man,
but you know what?
listen, as a man, you gotta be
Mm-hmm.
a provider, you gotta be the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
And now how life is, women have the attention, have the ability. We've just finding this out. This ain't nothing new though for me, but women been had the ability to grow and make things multiply and create multiple businesses while the man has one. And then
Right.
there's a disconnect with that because when a woman does that, now society tell her, "Oh yeah, you're above the man," but everybody equal if you're looking at it right. You know what I'm saying? If I
Right.
right way, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yes, man should make final decision, but he should be respectful, understand who that woman is, understand her wisdom, glean on her advice. Like I said, I ain't gonna go too deep into this, but that's where another disconnect is at.
Right.
How the man doesn't, because it's going to definitely hurt a man to have children with a woman
Mm-hmm.
and he not be able to see his kids, like especially in a divorce or something like that, or however. That's definitely going to hurt. And
Right.
say it, we all human though, but both sides take it out on the kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
I ain't saying nobody right, nobody wrong, but we just understanding what was wrong, what does happen. So
That we
those are
just have to come to a middle ground that the children, we need wisdom and we need
matter
help,
more than
right?
you.
And
Right.
but the main thing is the babies. I
Yes.
call them the babies. If they 25, they're the babies.
I'm the same way.
They're grown people, but they're the babies. But we have to teach them. I remember when we were in visual and verbal, Paul, and we took the kids to feed. They call them family and friends at Old Savannah City Mission. And I told the young man, I never forget his face. I can see his face so clear. I told him, I said, I'm so proud of you. And he leaned back against the wall like he was about to cry. He said, nobody has ever told me that they were proud of me. He said, I'm
So,
proud of myself. So we have to be careful how we speak into our kids' lives also.
ooh,
Regardless, it's so easy to clap for the ones that are doing so good. It's so easy to clap. Oh, you going to school, you making honor roll. It's so easy to do that. But what about that one? Oh, that boy get on my nerves. He's smoking weed. He skipping class. He's not doing right. And I remember Felicia Rashad said this. Oh my God, I love A Raisin in the Sun. I don't know if you ever saw that. Paul, if
it's
you
been
haven't seen it, huh?
it's been a long time.
Oh man, Paul, that was so good. And P. Diddy was on that. And so what he did was he spent the money of her deceased husband. He messed up all the money. He invested the money, but the man ended up taking the money, right? and she said her daughter was so upset with her brother for doing that, and his sister said, "I hate you," and she said, "No, that's not the time you love him when he's up. These kids, if you even I'm guilty of it. Let me just say this. I'm guilty of saying things that I should not say to my children, right? But in correction, I apologize. You can hurt them. My son told me, he said, Mama, he 18. He told me he said, Mama, you don't know how to talk to nobody. And that, you got to say, you have to take a step back, regardless of you being upset and things. That's why it's not good to chastise your children when you're upset, because you can end up killing their spirits by the words that you speak out of your mouth. So this is about mentorship, y'all. Your first mentor is your parents. Your first love is your dad and your mom. That's mentorship. Go ahead, Paul.
I want to say this right here. In providing, I believe it's very important for the men to provide nurturing, to be nurturers. That's how I feel. That's, through my ups and downs, I try to make sure that that's what I was for my son. Through my ups and downs, that's what my mom made sure she was for me. And I believe that works, even through the ups and downs.
But go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. My mom always told me that I could have been whatever I wanted to be, whatever I put my mind to. It always encouraged me, even through my ups and downs. And I've always told my son that same thing. And trust me, he did way better than I did. You know what I'm saying? I was so proud of him. But that's something that I did do consistently ever since my son was young. I told him I was proud of him. Mm-hmm. And tell him that, and I made sure I said, I ain't proud of you because of nothing that you do. I'm proud of you because you're my son. Ain't nothing you can do that can't make me proud of you.
I love that, Paul.
So, and I still tell him that to this day.
That's right. What I think we mess up back, they so quick to say. I had to take an anger management class one time, right, Paul? And I never forget the instructor, what he said. He said, African Americans, he said, we quick to say, boy, hush that crying, you a boy. So we instill that in them when they're
sometimes you got
but Paul, guess what? We shouldn't instill that they can't have. That's saying that they can't have emotions.
No.
Yeah, okay, you're not in agreement with it. You're not in agreement with that.
No, I'm saying that we shouldn't tell them to hush the crying all the time.
Right. No. He's saying, like, say if they're feeling a certain type of way and they're crying, they're crying out to you because they cry, and so you be like, boy, stop that whining or whatever. You a boy, man up. We're teaching them that they can't have emotions.
Right.
Boys are supposed to be hard. You're supposed to show emotions, because if you show emotion, that makes you weak. So, when they get around their friends and they got to act hard, so I'm just saying that's just my thought. I want to give that little piece on there because I don't know what it is to be a man.
Right.
You do, Paul, and so I just, mentorship is what we're talking about tonight at Incarceration to Incorporate, you all. And what we're trying to do is we don't want the youth to take the path that we went down. If we can say, hey, grandma boy, so if we can prevent them, and we can prevent them from going down the same road that we went down, I want to read this piece, Paul. It said, what is a mentor? A mentor is a person who provides you with tools, guidance, support, and feedback. You need to thrive in your career. There's often some who has gone down the same road that people so quick. My kids say, well, mama, you did it. I say, that's how I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to you from my experience. So you won't have to go down that road.
Right.
So you won't have to, I don't understand. My grandmother used to tell me, she said, Marie, she said, your head is hard like a brick. She said, I'm sitting here telling you that it's going to hurt if you go that way. And I'm like this. She just don't want me to have no fun. Paul, if I could turn back the hands of time, I would sit down in the house and be real quiet. Seriously. So I just want to get the young people to understand that it's not that we're trying not for you all to have fun. We want you all to have fun, but it's in how you have fun. It's in how you have fun. What are the qualities of a good mentor? Somebody that's relevant, somebody that has the expertise. Paul, I know you have the expertise to tell Lord Johnny, Lord Tim now, man, you shouldn't do that. Mentorship, the knowledge, it may seem to but your mentor should be more often than not have some kind of relevant background of what you're going through. Because the first thing those kids tell us nowadays, Miss Marie, how you gonna tell me something? You ain't never been to jail. I know I'm not what I used to be, but baby, I done been there and you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. I was telling, I just took the tarot class, Paul, right? And
Right.
I was talking to Brandon, and I was telling Brandon what the lady told me. She said, those boots belong to the state, and so do you. She said, you can't call for your mama or your daddy because I'm your mama and your daddy. So I'm
And
just,
freedom.
what you
For me,
saying, Paul?
the worst part about incarceration is like everybody grew up and I wasn't able to participate. Like my family, my friends, people that passed on, that been born. Look,
Right.
those, it was just missing that,
Right.
ain't a meal. Trust me, I like working out now. I'm trying to get my stomach back down.
Paul, I say the little weight I lost, I done gained it back. I was just telling my daughter, she said, Mama, we can start Monday. I said, why we can't start now? But anyway, I'm so thankful, Paul, for you coming on tonight. And like you were saying, Paul, you've been out for 10 years. Kudos to you. You know what they said about recidivism. Recidivism go back to reoffend 3 years. So Paul, you done supersede that. It's been 10 years. It's been 20 years for me.
That's right.
And so we are like Julius Campbell would say, we are entrepreneurs.
Right.
We're
Everything.
entrepreneurship is we're everything. He done got married. He done got a master's degree. We're doing all those things. We're not trying to make prison a revolving door. So I just want to say, Paul, what would you say? What would you say to a youth if a youth was standing in front of you and he was going to make the wrong decision? Speak life into that youth, Paul? What would you say to a youth right now?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you exactly what I would say, but I would definitely like verbatim. But I would ask them to consider if they want to go to prison. I would tell them, like, listen, whatever you're going through right now,
exactly,
you don't want to take that consequence. Is going to be too high. There's a lot more, and there's a lot more other choices out here.
That's right.
I mean, being involved, I have resources, and I mean, I would definitely try to encourage them. And if I'm capable, I definitely take them up under my wing and work with them if I'm capable. You know what I mean?
That's what we need. We need mentors who are going to be there for the long haul. Mentors. Hey, Tasha, you back?
Yeah, baby, I love that.
That's okay. That's okay. I understand. So guess what? While you back, and we are going to it's coming. We're about to get ready to come to a close. And I was just asking Paul and I'm asking you, Tasha, what would you say to you? Because speak life into a youth that is listening. What would you say to him to encourage him or her to not do what they're doing?
Love yourself.
Mm.
Love yourself. Love yourself. You have to love yourself and look to God for everything because God is real. It doesn't matter what people say, what they do. God is real. When we wake up in the morning, we're breathing air that we cannot measure, we cannot see. That shows us that God is real. Second thing, you have to love you for you because
That's right.
God made you how He wanted you to be. The gifts that you have, nobody else have. What you can do, nobody else can do. It's only one of you. Love yourself. It doesn't matter. Look in the mirror, look at your insecurities, talk to God about them, and He will overturn them. He will do it. I'm telling you, because He did it for me.
That's
I
right.
didn't love myself. I'm telling y'all have to love yourselves. Love you and the gifts that you have because you are very important and I love you.
Oh, I love that. That's what it was saying, T, and say, what are the qualities of a good mentor? The ability to give honest and direct feedback. They need that. They need that. These kids now today need that. They don't need, you can't play patty cake with them. You just can't. Especially for the ones who feel like having a gun on their side and going to jail is something honorable. You just can't
And it's
play.
not.
It's
It's
not.
not. And I done experienced that with my oldest son. He done been to prison and he done been shot twice in 1 year, in February and in November.
And how did you feel about Tasha? That's what one of the questions is that Julius asked. You know what, like the family and how the kids don't think about how it affects their mother, how it affects their grandmother, their aunties. And so how did you feel? Not, I know people say, well, why are you asking her, how did you feel? How did you feel as a mother, your son getting shot, not one time, Tosh, but he got shot twice in 1 year?
Yeah. It was hard. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And
Right.
the very first time that my son got shot, me and my aunt we got to the hospital and everything. I'm in the church heavy and stuff like that. I tried to call my pastor and I couldn't reach him. I couldn't reach them. So I had to pray and I had to cry out to God for myself. That's why I tell people nothing but God. You got to look to God for everything and all things.
That's
because
right.
at the end of the day, we have to. And it was hard for me, but I had got through it. You hear me? I'm
Yes,
a prayer, and I went to walk in the halls of Memorial and praying, and I prayed. And my son, I'm telling you, when I got there to see my son and the pain and him crying and stuff like that, it was like, oh my God. I was just like, oh my God, Lord, and I'm trying to call people, but you can't call nobody. You got to look to God. I had to look to God, and I really did. And that was the first incident in my life that had me at that point where I noticed that prayer is possible and prayer is what I have to do. And the second time that he got shot, I went up to the hospital. I didn't go right when he got shot. I went later on. I went investigating what had happened and all this and that, and seeing what had happened and stuff like that, and getting the information that I need to know, because I had learned from February going through till November. You see what I'm saying? So I had learned, but you never want to hear that your child got shot. And this is the thing. The second time he got shot, they told me he didn't get shot. It just scraped him. But when I made it to the hospital, all my family had done ran up there. They was there, but they couldn't do nothing because I'm his mom.
That's right.
The people were still waiting on me.
Right.
So when I got there, I told them, I said, y'all looking at me screens and stuff like that. I said, don't look at me like that. I said, because this God's will. Whatever happens is God's will.
That's right.
Everything's going to happen for a reason.
Yes,
at a certain time. It's hard and it's painful, but we have to go through and know that everything is God. God is in everything. It's a time for everybody. It's a time for them to live. It's a time for us to die.
That's right.
And it's hard. It was really hard, but I had to be a mother, and I was still a mother. I had him, and I had 6 other kids, because I still had my niece. So I got all these kids still looking to me, and this is my oldest. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to be strong.
That's
literally. I couldn't cry or nothing.
Wow.
Because they was watching me.
Mm-hmm.
They was watching me.
How's he doing now, Tasha?
He is. He said, "Mom, but God, no, nothing. Don't even look like he. Ain't even like he ain't never been shot before. Nothing. He got shot. He wasn't grazed the second time. He wasn't grazed. He was shot in his stomach.
Oh.
He was not grazed. When I got to the hospital and they had him in surgery, I said, my son in surgery? What are you in surgery for? He was shot in his stomach. But God.
But God, Tasha. You have an awesome, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all haven't heard her testimony, Tasha got a book. Tasha, what's the name of your book, T?
I don't look like what I've been through.
She don't look like what she done been through. And if y'all read that book and hear that sister's story, you would know she don't look nothing like she been through. I'm just gonna say, and nobody can tell her testimony like her, but I'm just giving you a brief summary of it. She had a stroke, and she's driving right now. She had a stroke where she couldn't walk, and she's driving right now. And she ain't walking with no walk. She ain't walking with no walk.
My God.
Come on,
Jesus.
I ain't gonna start, Tasha. You're trying to start.
My God. But God. Woo, yes. Marie.
Yes. So I just want y'all mentors, people who are out there that have the time, because it's a time-consuming thing. It's a time-consuming thing to give a part of yourself to a youth that really needs it, to a youth that deserve it. They need it. These young men and women, they want you to love on them. Guess what? Can I tell you something? Kids want to know right from wrong. They really do. They want to know right from wrong. They want you to teach them. They want you, what the Bible say, train a child in the way it should go, and they won't depart from it. And they won't depart.
And then not only that, kids run. When I know you have a house full, Marie. I have a house full of kids. So I have a house full of children, a house full of kids that still to this day. Kids will run to my house and spend the night. Mom, can I spend the night? Can I stay with you? They be running from their problems. So you have to, when you find them people, you have to love them. You have to show them their love. You have to ask them questions and stuff. You have to just a little bit. And sometimes just give them that love and show them that love. That's all they need. It'll save a person. I'm telling y'all, it will.
Oh, Tasha, that is so true. Mark, my oldest son, Sean, them, they would be to my house. Tequan, them, Richard, and they mamas, them used to get mad with me. I'm like, I don't want nobody else's kids because y'all know I have 11 kids. So kids flock to my house. And I remember, like right now, to this day, I see these young men, and they totally respect me. They respect me, and I respect them. You understand, Miss Marie? You know, Miss Marie, I love you because you took the time to listen. And that's what they want. They want to hear. They want you to listen.
Yeah. So, and I mean, a lot of them call me mom, and I don't mind. And my kids call people mom too, and that show them show the respect that they have for you because they learn something from you too.
That's right, Tasha. That is so right. I just thank you and Paul for taking the time to come on tonight to Incarceration to Incorporate, mentors making a difference. And I hope that, like I say, for those who hear the sound of my voice, if you see that young man or that young lady and they going the wrong way, don't say it's none of your business. Don't say it's none of your business. You know, a lot of people say they ain't none of my business and turn your head, and then you hear about that young man or that young woman getting killed. You know, that is, can I tell y'all something? It was a young lady. My cousin called me one night. This has happened 2 years ago. She got killed. So what happened was my cousin called me. She said, Marie, she said, I met her. She said, cousin, I know you do this kind of thing. This is what she told me. She said she was in the grocery store with her 2 kids, and all things she was buying was a banana. She's saying, look, she said the little boy was hungry. So my cousin said she brought her some food. So she noticed that she wasn't getting in any car. She was walking. You know what she was walking at, Tasha and Paul? She was walking to go sleep on the park with her 2 kids in Hampstead Park.
Wow.
When my cousin called me, I went and I was calling my daughters. I called Miss Miranda. I called everybody. Y'all got to give me some money. We got to get her a hotel room. She can't sleep on no park. Right. You know, everybody say, Marie, trying to save. It's not about trying to save something. But Tasha, can I tell you something? If you give a little, Paul give a little, I give a little, that make a lot, ain't it?
Yes, it does.
So I don't want to hear about no babies. Her babies were like 2 and 3 years old. So Paul, guess what we did? They had a hotel room and everything, and I will go out there to the hotel and take her to the grocery store and make sure her kids got food. She was the young lady who got killed out there on the Geechee Road. Shot that child and killed her dead and left her 2 babies. Man, let me tell y'all something. I used to go behind her because when I see, I try my best. Tasha about to cry. It's about to cry.
Yes, Lord, Jesus.
My best, Tasha, to love on people because I have a lot of kids in this world, and if any one of my children should be down, somebody. Guess what? God has sent somebody to help them. We got to guess what? We live in this world. We live in this world together. We live in this world together. We need one another.
Yes, we do.
Need one another.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, so I'm just, this is about the babies, and that's what my passion is. My passion is for the youth. It's not that I don't love the grown people. I do love y'all, but I love the youth because I want to reach them so they don't have to go down the road that I went down. They don't have to hit the wall and know that the wall gonna hurt them. And they don't have to be a physical. It could be the wall of life.
Life. My God, that's it.
Life. So I just want to come on and say this. Thank y'all so much for coming on, Tasha And Paul, thank you for sharing your story, Tasha. Thank you for sharing your story, Paul. Thank you for being a phenomenal guy, an upright guy, a standing guy for the youth, because you do a lot, Paul. You do a whole lot. So I just want to give you your kudos and everything and tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm glad that when I call on you, that you come out and stuff like that. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate you too, T, because I know that you're busy. You know, this woman, she has her own podcast. Her podcast is Tell the Truth. Tell the truth.
Take the mask off. Take the mask off.
Take the mask. Oh, that's what a lot of us need to do.
Everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. And be themselves.
Exactly.
Be themselves.
What you say, Paul?
Be themselves, because you were made.
Be themselves.
You were made uniquely and perfectly. Just
perfectly made. That's it.
Everybody but everybody trying to be certain different
and
people.
Please help us. Go ahead. My God.
Let me tell you.
Woo!
That's her, Tasha. Let me tell you what Julius Campbell was saying. We may have started off wrong. We may have. Paul may have been to prison. Tasha may have been to jail. Maria may have been to prison. But guess what? Look at us now. We are finishing strong. We are so much more than what our past said that we are. I just want.
And listen, that's my new book, my next book, but that's the name of it. I thought you was about to tell the name. I said, Lord, she about to get into it. I'm about to tell them the name. That's the name of my next book. Don't let your beginning become your end.
Okay. Look at T. Go on, T. You doing great things, girl. I'm really proud of you. And but God, and you better let him know who it is. So I yeah, that's right. I appreciate y'all. So thank you to Mr. Julius Hall for giving us this safe space to come share our stories. Safe space, no judgment zone. We coming on here to share so that we can be help to one another. Okay, this is about mentorship, trying to make a difference for the youth, to let them see that, guess what? Doing right, it looks good. And guess what, y'all? It feels good. It feels good. You ain't got to look over your shoulder because you know that you're doing right. So anyway, thank y'all tonight for tuning into Incarceration.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, Marie.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Paul. Talk to y'all later.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank y'all. This was amazing, y'all. Keep up.
Like that.